back and relax.
Sit back and relax.
Sit back and relax. Sit back and relax. Sit back and relax. Sit back and relax. Sit back and relax. Sit back and relax. Sit back and relax. Sit back and relax. Sit back and relax.
Sit back and relax.
And relax. Sit back 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 and relax.
Sit back and
Sit back and relax. Sit back and relax. Sit back and relax. Sit back and relax. Sit back and relax.
Welcome to Diamonds and Shit, the last audio trace from a series of radio mixes.
Sit back and relax.
Today, we will dive into a small dialogue about a new dance creation with Mary Umioza and Audrey Mirilus, two dear friends and collaborators of the project.
Sit back and relax. Sit back. Sit back and relax. 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 Sit back.
We will also share music we love and some sound excerpts from the project made by Vilat Klint, a composer producer from Denmark. But before getting into it, I propose that we present ourselves.
Sit back and relax. 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 Sit
So, hi everyone. My name is Audrey Merilus. I'm an artist based in Brussels. I'm from Afro-Caribbean descent, Haiti more specifically, and I'm a performer. I also work as a curator, and for the project Spine of Desire, I acted as a dramaturg alongside Marie.
Hi everyone, my name is Mario Muoza. I'm a multidisciplinary creative producer. My practice goes from writing to working with artists on dramaturgy, production, curation. I think, I speak, I care. I navigate Brussels for the last 10 years. I'm Kenyan born, Belgium raised, and Brussels rooted.
My name is Stanley Olivier. I'm a French Caribbean dancer, choreographer, DJ, radio host. And today we will be talking about this upcoming dance creation that we are making together and that we are premiering next week on the 2nd of May and 3rd in Kai Theatre. And to start, I will just give you a bit of a glimpse on what the performance is about. So, Spine of Desire, Wounds Without Tears, Out of One Skin in Diamonds and Shit, is a performance that draws from individual and collective narratives to create an experience with sonic, visual, spatial, and dancing elements. A dance work that takes as a starting point the community building power of POC belonging spaces in order to reformulate familiar choreographic approaches. Together with performers Lily Brieux Nguyen and Mamadou Wage, we explore everyday reality and social changes through a dance language that reflects the interrelations between the intimate, the body, and the creation of a guarded safe space. These audio traces, so we had the first one called Out of One Skin, the second one Spine of Desire, the third one Wounds Without Tears, and now this audio called Diamonds and Shit, are an attempt in cultivating new artistic languages, shaping and offering another space of creation inside the conception of an œuvre. Thank you to Kiosk Radio, Sekou Semega, Marie and Audrey for their contribution to the radio sets. And now, before we dive into the talk, we will just listen Kissed All Your Scars by Devonte Hines. a well-chosen song by Marie. How come did you choose this song?
I love this song. It's part of the soundtrack of the movie Queen and Slim. And the soundtrack was composed by Devonte Hines, also known as Blood Orange. And I think that this soundtrack has its own narration. It's telling its own stories. Of course, it merges beautifully with the movie, but just by itself, it's already a whole story, many stories actually. And working on the performance with you all together, I also feel like this performance is a composition of many elements, and these elements by themselves also tell a story, and together then they share another story, and I think it's beautiful.
Thanks for sharing it. So maybe if we dive a bit into the project, I was thinking that we could have a small talk about it. We know a bit what we are working on. We have very different function, but I wanted to take this time to kind of like use the space that Kiosk has, which I'm very grateful to use, to kind of self-interview each other on the thematic of the piece, which takes shape around the question on care, the intimacy, and individual and collective energy in our artistic sector, but also in creative processes. And I wanted to start with the first question, maybe. Did you ever felt, or do you think now, it's very heavy, do you think that now we're getting somewhere on the different care environment that we think exist or don't exist in our artistic sector, which is performing art field? Where would you situate this care energy now?
Yeah, I'll start. Yeah, that's an interesting question. For me, it was one of the big challenges of this creation. I was like, okay, how can you implement like notions of care within that field? And for me, it lies in like community building, in like sharing this process with you guys, for example. Also trying to push to get also a certain set of things that we want to like frame a bit the work, the rehearsals, and like how we decide like on which collaboration we want to also dive into. So that's where I found a certain like space of care within the field, but it's still very like in friction. It's pretty much also sometimes in friction with the structural
the institution.
Institution,
you mean? Yeah. I see. I agree.
And you?
I mean, I will only up on your answer. I would say that we find the care in people, really in people, and the people who carry or even embody this care and do it intentionally, such as you did to start this process, are, I think, our best hopes in the field, because a system takes time to be built, but takes as much time, sometimes even more time, to be unbuilt. And care being a notion that can also be seen as an aesthetic, that can also be seen as a buzzword, that can also be seen as this and this and this and that. Care being many things, to deconstruct the structures of non-care, of uncare, and replace and construct new structures of care will take time. But again, I do believe that through people, through community, through the way we decide to work, because there is a way, or let's say there are many ways of working in the performing arts, but many, such as you do, such as we do in our collaboration, take a stance in questioning those ways, reshaping, renaming these ways. So I would say first we will find care in people, and hopefully this care through people will translate in ways, and then in structures, and then...
Indeed.
Yeah, I want to rebound on something also, because I think this process made me realize what do I also put behind care? Because I mean, there is also this idea of like care as something gentle, But I also realized that, okay, when you care for something or you care for someone, it's like it comes also with like, I don't know, like concerns, torments. And it's also something that I felt you also tackled on with the piece. And yeah, if you want to bounce back on this.
Yeah,
also.
I remember that when I started to think about the questions of care, it really came from my experience as a dancer mainly, and being in service of an idea and of someone else's work, and kind of feeling the way I was or other collaborators were treated. I think as a POCs, I feel we are most of the time instrumentalized on topic that we might live every day, and we sometimes are not. We are invited to perpetuate these forms on stage because we live them, but we're not invited to process and think about them in the process the same way as a creator would do. So that made me also think that dancers were not per se seen as creators, but more as executor. And I thought this was something that was mainly, which is also problematic, a company thing, but actually it's also a freelancing issue. And from there, I think like I as you say the care comes from people and building a community, and I really felt that that was the first seed of the work, because the first thing I was doing was literally calling with Audrey every night, and like because Audrey, I know her since a long time, and kind of just like dialoguing about these questions without really having such a concrete question that questioned the field in itself. It was more like kind of opening conversation on what was happening to us within a different project that we were on, and from there I wanted to like kind of open the space to others, because I thought if we feel that way, probably that we are allowed to feel that way, and how can we then create a space in which we feel safe and protected, and that we can kind of shape ourselves inside an institution or a system that is very rigid, and how can we then fluidify that rigidity to kind of diffuse those thoughts, those dances, and be together.
I would say that from what you just shared, the beauty for me also of this project is that you took the care and you put it central in the creation process, because a lot of these institutions and structures want to talk about care, or sometimes even invite me to talk about care, but it's often on the margin of the creative thing. It's always on the margin of the productive thing. It's always on the margin of something. And I think putting it center is also a statement for the field.
And how do you yourself, when you perceive this, what you are now saying, what are your strategies to go through it, or kind of re-question it through the different actors that you are encountering?
Yes.
What did you got some new strategies for yourself, or through experiences did you learn something that kind of now make you navigate the field with more peace?
I'm still searching. I think it's an ongoing research, but yeah, I definitely have ways. I would say I'm more thoughtful in what I decide to do, what I decide to engage in. If I don't have the feeling that the person inviting me for a program around care has care towards me, there is no way I'm doing it. So I would say, as to go back to my first answer, I would always say start with people. Like, who is inviting you to join what? What's the context in which you'll be part of? And then I would say that my strategies also connect to community. I share with the people around me. How does it sound to them? How does it resonate to them? I try to define also really well what I'm bringing to the project. if am I bringing ideas, am I bringing myself, because our identities are also, as you said, often used to represent or to support an idea, but how does it go further? I make sure to include my people. I mean, all my answers are around people and community. Those are the safest ways I've found for myself so far, but I'm still searching. So,
And from doing that, you get to also care about yourself.
ongoing research as well. I think caring about myself is and should be always the starting point to be able to care about others. But you said it yourself, both of you, it's a really rigid field, because we think performing art, creativity, but it's still really rigid and normed. There are a lot of norms. So I think questioning those norms, sometimes taking a distance, clear distance from them, is a way that I found to protect myself, staying in connection with my people. Yeah.
This was Metaphysica by Phantom Wizard, and then a small excerpt from a passage in the piece, in the dance piece, um, which is gonna be very cool to dance and to feel with an audience. Let's go back to our small talk. I think we had some new topic we wanted to talk about. I'm gonna let you go for it.
Yeah, I remember from our conversation during the rehearsals, during the time that we spent together. There was one point where we were talking, reflecting on all the different things. Let's call it them things to then dive deeper, but all the different things that compose this performance. And at some point, I remember, Stan, you said, we reached a point of saturation, and that's a nice place to be. And it was beautiful to think of saturation as actually a celebration of things coming together, and not as a it's too much.
Mm-hmm.
And in echo to, again, what we said earlier with the performing arts, dance being quite rigid and quite normative, I think it's really interesting to also see how in this piece, in this creation process, there is room for so many things to come together, to complement each other, to clash with each other, to complete, to contrast. Yes.
Yeah, indeed, there is a lot of different medium. Well, the first medium that made the piece is us, the three bodies that are also building, that has a friendship outside of the dance work. So that for me was already an important aspect that could relate to care and could help us reach deeper questions. That doesn't mean it's more easy. Then we have Lou Coco Di Valentino, who is a visual artist that is making the scenography, and with her we've been working around the concept of the abyss, in which different elements comes after another, and together it creates a kind of
mise en abîme.
mise en abîme, like it's kind of a new, like you see the image becoming more real. Yeah, the abyss. You create the abyss basically, and with some other concepts that are more related to our Caribbean roots, because she's also from Martinique. Then we have Godwin Agosa, with who we are doing the costumes. We have Vilat Klins with the music, in which we are kind of exploring very different genres, such as like footwork, which is a ghetto house genre from Chicago. We have also some compa, which is an Asian musical genre. We, of course, he also is creating different compositions that are kind of designing also the atmosphere, the energy of the performance. We have you two that are doing the dramaturgy and that are kind of complementing through words and your vision the performance. I hope I'm not forgetting anything, but there is also the production, who is also, like, of course, helping all the administrative things and the organization to make everyone at ease and more able to do the work. So I think all this mashup of different practices is very challenging, but because I think the concept of the abyss, which is like really putting things after another to make it one image that completes each other, or that you can kind of like understand deeper the first sense of that image, kind of, I think, guided us to find a certain clarity within the thematic, and I think, as you said, the fact that it saturates is good. It's a good thing, because we are always so like trying to polish everything, and things are, then we are more stressed, or like I think now it was nice to kind of think about saturation as a way to let go, and just find each other, building the community, find communion, celebrate through rage, through softness, through tenderness, and through clashing as well, so that we can create a body of work that can talk, I hope, to a lot of people. And I think now we are in a space where we have put it so much together that the piece becomes more. Which is the funny thing is that I had very different research question on the piece, and they kind of escaped us. And now I feel we're really, like, I see the first question I had was, where are the care environment in our field, and then which practices are we going to use to create them or to get there. And I feel now we are in a moment where I'm seeing all these fruitful practices that we've put together, and it's creating this hybrid form that even me sometimes I don't truly recognize how to deal with it, because it's such a, of course it's a work that I'm coordinating, but I think the fact that we've been listening to each other and in constant conversation made that new language and vocabulary that I think is even a little bit, I'm going to say, a bit beyond us. And I think it's good. And probably that through time and through the tour and through also talking about it later, we're going to be able to understand it even deeper. Yeah, I don't know if maybe you had other things that you saw or that you felt within the creative process that could kind of bounce back with your question on all this like medium that we are using.
Yeah, I would say that what really attracted me at first and made me at ease then is this unapologetical recognition for everything that it's there. And what you just said, that in some ways it's slightly beyond us. I think that's what's exciting. I think that's what also makes it a proper research. I mean, I use the word proper, but what is a proper research? Like the idea that we touch on things that are even more deep and even more broad than what we can actually grasp within a performance, within a creation, but that is only seeds for creativity and for the work to also evolve through the people that embody it. And what a good, maybe simple example for me is that I remember a conversation we had already last November, October, and exchanging references, exchanging music that we like. This album creates this within me. This artist has a practice of archiving her sounds like this. And there is so much room, and that's why it reaches a certain saturation, because all the references, all the backgrounds, because we all come from quite diverse backgrounds, right? They all come and nourish the project. So a good example for me would be indeed maybe the sonic approach that made sure to include many narrative, many references, many figures, that also is part of all of our practices in a way or another. Music is a support. Music is a I don't know, support vision, support movement, support so many things that we do. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Yeah, to bounce back on what you both said, I was wondering actually, because the sonic experience and the process also with Villas took a really central space. And I wondered also which place does it have in your life, also sound as also something that you also like cure yourself through, or like as something that also take part of your journey to care for yourself first and for others.
Yeah. I mean, I think we three of us probably are always listening music through your curations or through family gathering, or now me through DJing as well. And I really wanted to kind of um, transmit in the work something that I'm learning through another community of artists and through like my experience as a radio host DJ. Let's say I met different dramaturgical strategy that I think people use in their set or like in the way they curate or in the way they even meet people and I kind of wanted to use that in my practice and not use only the choreographical aspect that I have learned in dance schools. And for me, it was normal to then try to think of the music piece as a mixtape or as a, like a set in itself that we could put for an hour in here that would explore different genres that are either that I love, either that are close to me personally. For example, the compa, like that's something that I hear a lot in weddings, in baptism, and I think Audrey is the same, right?
Yeah, totally.
And I think for me it was important to kind of represent such a feeling that I think I would like to live more and to show some kind of strength of through sharing it and resistance because it's a music that of course is really nice, it's beautiful and but it holds so much history as well and struggles and I think that says a lot on our way of dealing with the society and the world right now and I think that was making sense for me to kind of include that in the piece. The same way that footwork, for example, is just something that drives my body to move, and I wanted to share that with Mamadou and Lily, and seeing which kind of rageous body would come out, and which story would come out as well. So I think the piece is central because it says already a lot of our states without probably seeing us on stage. And I wanted the music to feel like that, to feel like it's the piece in itself. The same way that I wanted the scenography to feel like it's the piece in itself without the body, the same way that I wanted the dramaturgy to feel like they are the piece in itself, that we can talk about this topic without showing the piece. The same way that I wanted us to move through the thematic. So everything, I hope, becomes and merges together to create, again, this new language. Yeah, like we love music and it's great to dance on it.
Thank you, Stan. Thank you for this compa. Thank you for this beautiful answer also of yours. But I want to also return on your last answer. You talked also a lot about like the relation, like your relation to sound, and also like the place it holds in the process. And it brought me back to like a memory of us also talking about how in the very beginning you wanted also to create the piece, like the dance piece, as a set, and that you wanted to take elements of like how you would create a set. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of like there's something very interesting when you can do a DJ set very differently, I think. I mean, I'm no genius, but I think like you can improvise, and that's I think what's the core practice of DJing is to really like just know your song and playing with them and just experiment. And I still have a lot to learn with it. But there's something that really passionated me was to try to curate sound, but not just like one a song after the other, but really trying to make a story and something that really is becoming fluid within the set. And there's something very interesting in the way you can prepare a set to inspire yourself to prepare a piece dramaturgically, but also just to imagine a piece and how the transition would go the same way than the transition from one song to another would, how you would do it, how would you do it also when you physicalize it, or like how, why would you enter with this sound first on stage the same way that you would diffuse this first sound on the radio, why this one specifically? And those questions really made me just made me really passionate on how to create a piece, and create a group piece also, because you're so much collecting sound when you prepare a radio set that you have to deal with this diversity of different tonality. And I think that's the same way when you're trying to work with different people that has different opinions. And again, it's not the most easy, but somehow DJing practice made me more open to like receive and offer, and I'm grateful for this practice, because I think I would have not probably do or employ the same practices to make the piece before meeting the DJ scene, because I had other things in mind and in my body, and now like to have traveled through that, made it much more easy to navigate this process. Indeed.
And then would you say then that this also, would you say that, sorry, that this practice then allowed you to like build up together with the team, like what the piece would look like or what you want the audience to be left with? Like,
I think no. I think like it's still like, I think the way we enter the process, that practice helped me. But the thing that will come out, actually, it's very it's still the unknown. Even though, like, of course, you are creating different meaning, and you know what you would like the piece to be about, and you know what you would like the audience to go through or go out with. But somehow, like, I would never be in control of what people would think, and I would also never be in control of what people would think of my transitions in DJing. And I think it's just like accepting that it's a process and that we are progressing, and that but I for sure would like the audience to go out with a sense of like, okay, maybe we should a bit wake up like on these questions and try to act, but at the same time we can act through pleasure and not only through confrontation. I think there is many conclusions that I would like the piece to give as a feeling, but maybe the nice thing that I would like after the audience go out of the theater is that they felt something and they are going with this sensation on the body, more than just all the questions and like the intellectual aspect of what the piece might be about. I think that's where the piece will become more accessible to different backgrounds and people. So if people go out with a sense of like, breath, then I think we won. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, I see what you mean, because also, like, as you said before, like, and my impression throughout also the whole process is like that it's very layered, and that if eventually the audience goes back with something that is, I don't know, like a certain density, or like just a pleasurable moment, or like just also something to talk about, or like that can bring discussion and like conversation, I think that's definitely a win.
Yay.
Yeah, I think you both said it all. I would simply add that it's beautiful to see how your practice, how you could be a vessel for your practice and then translate it into the piece. And just to add on what you said, that the piece can also be something that the audiences, the visitor, embody in their own ways, through thoughts, through reflection, conversation, hopefully actions.
Thank you so much for this talk, Marie and Audrey. I'm very happy to have shared this space with you. I hope you like it, and I hope you can do it yourself somewhere else, maybe, or here even. Thank you for the listeners. I hope you enjoyed it, and you can, of course, listen to the other audio traces. They are on the SoundCloud of Kiosk, but also on my SoundCloud. You can also come and book your ticket to the performance next week in Kai Theatre on the 2nd and 3rd of May in Jessie de Criquelard. It's open to all, so please come so that we have fun and we never forget.
Losing my mind.